All right, let's be honest. Have you ever spent hours, cramming for a big test? You feel like you've totally nailed it, only to wake up the next day and realize most of it is just gone? Poof, vanished. Yeah, you're definitely not alone. It has to be one of the most frustrating things about trying to learn anything.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. I read it 5 times. How many of us have thought that? The logic seems so solid, doesn't it? More effort, more rereading. That should mean you remember it better. But as we all know, that's just not how it works, and it's incredibly frustrating. So that leads us to the big question. So why? Why does all that hard work just seem to evaporate into thin air? Well, the good news is it's not some big mystery. It's actually a well understood scientific principle. And once you get what's going on, you can start to fight back. So, to really understand this, we have to meet the villain of our story. And yeah, it actually has a name. It's this predictable, super powerful force that's constantly working against us whenever we try to learn something new. Say hello to the forgetting curve. Now, the most important thing to know about this is that it is not a personal flaw. It's not you, it's just how our brains are wired. Think about it. Our brains are constantly trying to save energy by getting rid of information they think is useless. It's like aggressive housekeeping. The problem is, your brain can't always tell the difference between a random ad you saw and a key formula for your exam. And just how fast this all happens, well, it's kind of shocking. Yeah, you're seeing that right. The biggest, steepest drop in what you remember happens almost right away. We're talking within the first 24 hours. So all that effort, all those hours studying, can just disappear in a single day unless you do something about it. So how do you fight back? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in how you think about studying. Okay, this is the real turning point. This is where everything can change for you. It's about letting go of the study habits that feel right and instead embracing the ones that science shows are right. It's really the difference between being a passive spectator watching a movie and actually being the star of the movie. You gotta get in the game.
Okay, now take a look at these two columns. Let's be real, that list on the left, rereading, highlighting, that's what most of us do, right? It feels productive, it feels like we're working hard, but here's the secret. For your brain, it's actually pretty easy. It's comfortable. Now look at the stuff on the right. Self-questioning, trying to explain it to a friend, that feels harder, doesn't it? It forces your brain to struggle a little. And it turns out that struggle is exactly where the magic happens. That's what builds real, lasting memories. So here's the bottom line, the big takeaway. The goal is not to study more. It's not about putting in more hours. It's about using those hours to study smarter. It's about working with your brain's natural systems instead of constantly fighting against them. So let's get practical. I'm going to show you 3 super powerful strategies that do exactly that. All right, so we know the problem is the forgetting curve, and we know the solution is active learning. Now let's fill up your mental toolkit with the specific techniques you're going to use. These are the heavy hitters backed by science that are going to form the heart of your new study system. First up, and honestly this is the most important one, retrieval practice. You might know it as the testing effect. And here's the core idea that you have to wrap your head around. Trying to pull information out of your brain is a much, much more powerful way to learn than just trying to shove it in. Think of it like a workout for your brain. Every time you force yourself to recall something, you're doing a rep, and that neural pathway gets stronger. Testing isn't just about checking what you know. Testing is the learning. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Look at the proof. This study with anatomy students is just jaw-dropping. The group that used a lot of retrieval practice scored, on average, almost 14 points higher on the final exam. That's literally the difference between passing and failing, or getting a C versus a B. It's the same material, the same class, but a completely different outcome, all based on how they studied. It's a total game changer. Okay, so retrieval practice is our star player, no doubt about it. But just like in any sport, it's not just about having a great player, it's about knowing when to put them in the game. The timing is everything. And that brings us to our second powerhouse technique, which is the perfect partner for retrieval. And that partner is spaced repetition. This is all about the when. Instead of cramming all your retrieval practice into one night, you space it out over time, at bigger and bigger intervals. So maybe you quiz yourself after 1 day, then 3 days, then a week. What this does is it perfectly counteracts the forgetting curve. You're reviewing the information right at the moment you're about to forget it. That little bit of struggle tells your brain, oh, wait, this is actually important. I better hang on to this one.
All right, our first two tools are incredible for strengthening memories. But what if the information itself is just boring, abstract? How do you make it stick? Well, our last technique is a bit different. It's creative, it's engaging, and honestly, it's just plain cool. It taps into a kind of superpower our brains have for remembering places.
It's called the Memory Palace. And yeah, I know, it sounds like something straight out of Sherlock Holmes or a fantasy book. But this is a real ancient technique that is unbelievably powerful. The basic idea is you use a place you know like the back of your hand, your house, your walk to school, and you mentally place weird, memorable images that represent what you need to learn. To remember the information, you just take a mental stroll through your palace. And it's not as complicated as it sounds, I promise. Step 1, just pick a location you know super well. Your apartment, your childhood home, whatever. Step 2, map out a very specific path through that location, from the front door to the living room to the kitchen. And step 3, this is the really fun part. You turn the boring facts into crazy, vivid, multisensory images, and you place them along your route. And trust me, the weirder and more ridiculous the image, the better it will stick. It completely turns memorization from a boring chore into a creative game. So we've got retrieval practice, spaced repetition, and the memory palace. But these aren't just 3 random party tricks for your brain. They're all connected. They all work because they're based on one single, powerful underlying principle. And understanding this principle is the key to making it all work. And that big idea is called desirable difficulties. It's a bit of a weird name, but the concept is profound. It basically says that the things that make learning feel hard in the moment, like struggling to remember an answer or spacing out your practice so it's not fresh in your mind, those are the very things that lead to strong, long-term learning. It's a total paradox. Learning that feels easy is often ineffective. So, if there's one mantra I want you to take away from all of this, it's this. If your studying feels easy, you're probably doing it wrong. Seriously. If you're just gliding through your notes without any real mental friction, that should be a red flag. That's not learning, that's just recognizing. You have to embrace that feeling of effort. That's not a sign of failure, it's the sign that you're actually building memory. Which brings us to the most critical point of all. It's one thing to hear all of this and think, wow, that's interesting. It's another thing entirely to actually do it. The whole point here isn't just to give you some fun facts about memory, it's to get you to actually change how you approach learning, like starting right now. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge, a question to really think about. What's the first thing you're going to learn differently? I'm not asking you to change everything overnight, but what's one small step you can take? Will you try quizzing yourself instead of rereading that one chapter? Will you try building a tiny memory palace for 3 vocabulary words? What is the one thing you will do today to make your learning actually stick?